AI might take over the world one day, but today is not that day.
Today is definitely not that day, and I don't know, shame on people for thinking that, but, thinking today's the day, because it's just way too soon.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of hype
we've
people.
Got years. I think we're years away from it.
Years?
Yeah, at best. Decades, maybe even.
Well, I don't know. I'm scared of the one breakthrough that we haven't had yet, right? Like there's going to be something crazy that happens, and I don't know. It may be 7 breakthroughs from now, but
that's true.
I'm afraid that one breakthrough will accelerate the next and the next and the next, and it just becomes kind of a domino thing where all I don't need them to take over. I'll be nice to them, right? During the robot revolution, hopefully I'm one of the last, but I just want Rosie from the Jetsons, right? I need someone to help me do my laundry and stuff, because that is annoying and boring. I don't want that.
Yeah, laundry, dishes, all those things.
Yeah.
Maybe even just, walk the dog and, put the kids on the bus, that sort of stuff. I mean, I think those are helpful things.
See, it would give me time to walk the dog, though, and then that would just be super beneficial for me and for the dog. And, that's the whole point, right? Is to let the AI and robots do the stuff that you don't want to do, so you have time to do the things that you do want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's your jam, I mean, I'm thinking just sit on the bench in the park, watch the geese fly or something.
See,
would be cool.
That would also be cool. I'm in it. I'm ready for that. That's what I want. But writing bug reports, it's not ready for prime time just yet.
Or maybe even just bug fixes and do pull requests and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not ready for that either.
But it doesn't stop people from actually trying. So
it seems like, yeah.
If you are familiar, and you are, if you've ever piped anything to bash from the internet, you are likely familiar with curl. Curl is one of these things that is just like an internet command line Swiss Army knife that does anything, that will grab anything, do anything on the internet for you automatically, well, with the right switches and whatnot.
It's basically a web browser in a command.
That's right. So it does all kinds of stuff for all kinds of people, even if you don't even know that you're using it in a script that you're running. So curl is pretty integral to the way that Linux and the internet kind of work. So Daniel Stenberg of the project, though, was none too happy.
Understandable.
To look into one of these bug reports and realize that it wasn't exactly what it seemed. So over on LinkedIn, he wrote, "That's it. I've had it. I'm putting my foot down on this craziness. Every reporter submitting security reports on HackerOne for curl now needs to answer this question. Did you use an AI to find the problem or generate the submission? And if they do select it, they can expect a stream of proof of actual intelligence follow-up questions. We now ban every reporter instantly who submits reports we deem AI slop. A threshold has been reached, and we are effectively being DDoSed. If we could, we would charge them for this waste of our time. We still have not seen a single valid security report done with AI help." Ooh.
I mean, that's a bold statement, but I can understand, right? You've had enough spam, basically, and waste of time, because this is one of those places that you expect to be high quality reporting, because it's basically security vulnerabilities that need to be addressed. I mean, HackerOne curates that, for you. It's not just a GitHub, issue or something like that. This is intended for serious things that need to be solved in a timely fashion.
HackerOne is that middleman, right? That takes developer money to pay bounty hunters,
bug bounties,
to fix things, right? And so they facilitate that flow of money. So as you said, you would expect the quality of the bug reports, of the security issues, those types of things, you would expect that to be high quality.
Correct.
Except we now know it's not.
Yeah, this is not that. No.
Ow.
Yeah, it stinks. I feel bad that's that's going on for them, and they're spinning their wheels on it because, like I said, this is where they want to prioritize their efforts. Is the security, vulnerability thing.
Right. Yeah. With it reaching out to the internet, you kind of want it to be secure. It does a lot of things for you.
And so, in some regard, I guess curl and other projects, they've enlisted the trust of HackerOne to kind of curate some of that for them.
Right.
So, I mean, in some regard, it's a nice platform for that to happen, I guess. Convenient.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's convenient because people get paid. And, like,
right.
I think that's quite nice. So, this particular exploit, well, purported exploit was a vulnerability in the HTTP3 stream dependency. So this one was going to be classified high. So that would have given a reward of $4,660 had it turned out to be replicable and patchable, right?
That's not insignificant.
No, definitely not. But it turns out, after a little poking and prodding from Jim Fuller and from Daniel Stenberg, so Daniel ended up coming back and saying about a line referencing NGTCP2 and NGHTTP3 functions that were supposedly supposed to be in the code, weren't.
They don't exist.
Yeah, it turns out that the code that this particular report was about didn't actually exist. It was made up. And Dan, you said hallucinated. I take issue with the word because
I know you do.
Because it's too human of a word, but it's a good people know what I'm saying when and know what we're saying when we say it was hallucinated.
Yeah, it was materialized out of thin air.
Right. And so that led Daniel Stenberg to call this and kind of stamp that word AI slop onto it.
Yeah, it's an egregious thing, and I can understand why he did that. Yeah.
Right. And you dig into this person's history of submission at HackerOne, and they have accepted reports.
Yeah, they do.
They've been paid before.
They have, and I hope that those other things were not this. Maybe this was an experiment or something where they tried to use AI to help them. But, I mean, I question now. I mean, because I didn't go back through and look at all of the reports that were there. But this person, they've got some things that have been accepted and whatnot. And I wonder what the quality on those were. And I hope that it was not as crummy as this was.
Well, I mean, it's just a string of reports that generated a good chunk of change. But, and as you said, like, I do kind of wonder, like, how much of that stuff was actually AI? And is that really a decent stream of income? Is AI that good that you can submit these types of AI-generated bug reports or AI-assisted bug reports and hit the target? 30% of the time, 40% of the time, what would it matter if you are hitting the target sometimes?
I mean, I guess, or the baseball scores here. I mean, your batting average of 300 is pretty good, right?
Exactly, and that's the kind of thing. But on the flip side of that, right? Like, you have to set aside the rejected reports and the time wasted. Realizing, as Daniel Stenberg did, realizing that it was
70% were bogus.
Yeah, that were AI slop, as he said, and just a waste of time. Is it worth it? Is it worth it when it does hit the target?
I feel like it's not worth it for the projects that are on the receiving end of that have to chase around all the bogus stuff.
Well, set that aside for just a sec, and look at it from he got paid. So
I know
there were confirmed reports
Hopefully.
that were patched. I mean,
Yeah.
someone on the developer side had to look at that, had to say, yeah, that's a real one. And then
I mean, it's presuming it got incorporated, and they just didn't just pay them for their report, I suppose.
Right. So if AI, let's and I'm kind of assuming that all of these are AI generated, right? But let's look at that. Is batting 300, which is not unheard of in baseball, right?
Right.
If batting 300, getting 30% of your stuff right, is that good enough?
Well, do we need a person to use AI to report that, or could we just run that stuff through AI and be done with it?
But then you would have to spend the
The
time.
project would do it, right? I mean, but like then, I mean, I guess that's why you have test suites and stuff like that. I mean, hopefully that brings some of your bugs out for you.
Yeah.
Right. And there's different testing tools that have been developed along the way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you use those things. Plus, you have actual people, hopefully.
Yeah, but I would assume Acronis and Adobe and Starbucks, some of the names that show up on this list of bounties that were paid out, that they do that, right? They do use the automated testing suites to get the low hanging fruit. So these are reports that are referencing more difficult to find types of bugs. So let me ask you this then. Let's zoom out a little bit and get away from AI in general and look at the general idea of fuzzing. That is also a very large number of security reports, and fuzzing is by definition throwing junk at it. Randomized trash to see if you get some kind of buffer overflow, or see if you can get a crash of some kind of denial of service or whatever. You just want the software to behave in an unpredictable way, and when it does that, boom, you found a bug. Is fuzzing is going that far, and not AI, but just throwing junk at it? Is that we've deemed that as legitimate? That is now part of testing suites, and it's very easy to set up a fuzzer and just point your laser and see if the thing explodes.
Right.
So is
this another form of fuzzing?
Right. I would put it in the same kind of category of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah.
So I think it's a much wider conversation about, I think, just automated stuff. And I think it's just particularly egregious here because you can use AI to then turn around and get paid. And I'm sure
I don't like that it's making up stuff, though. I mean, that's just
right.
Like, it needs to be a lot more accurate, I feel like, if we're going to accept this as a solution to find these things. It's got to get a ton better. I feel like 30% is not good enough for me. I know that's great in baseball, and it's fine for maybe the weather forecast or something, but it needs to be better.
30% chance of AI failures.
Like, I want to see that number up at 90% or something. I feel like before we're going to start accepting it in the workflow of security vulnerabilities in particular. I want that to be accurate. I don't I don't want inaccuracies there. No.
Yeah, because think about that, right? Like, as far as Daniel Stenberg and his team is concerned, every report is a real one. So that means that you have to spend...
It's like calling 911.
Yes.
You better have a fire. I mean, or, someone, needs medical attention or something.
Right.
You want it to be legit. You don't want it to be, some bogus thing like my mail didn't get delivered today or something. You know what I mean? I mean, it needs to be a real problem, real legit emergency.
Because I think you can kind of compare this to like AI scanning a street inside the windows, and there's one of those little battery powered fake candles, and it was burning, and AI blew that up into, oh God, the house is burning, call 911, and 911's called. They show up, and it's like, that was a battery-powered tea light. That's not a real fire.
That's not a real fire. Or, someone turned on their gas stove and, there was an open flame. But, I mean, it's intended to be that way.
Well, I think that's even better than this. That's better than the report in question, because that's actual real fire, you know?
It is, but I mean, it was controlled. It was a controlled environment. We're okay.
Yeah. Well, this AI made up entire chunks of code.
That's not good.
And reported on it. And unfortunately, it took at least 2. They were the only ones that responded on the curl team, but I suppose more than 4 eyes were looking at this.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And so it's just a big...
Well, now the internet's talking about it, so...
Well, yeah, we are the internet.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a humongous waste of time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like your 90%. I would say AI is bad, so I'll give it 60. If you can get 60% accuracy out of it, then it would probably be worth your time to go down all those rabbit trails, all those rabbit holes to try and figure out. If it's more correct than it's wrong, then I think we're in good waters. We're in this a good point, but there's still going to be a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted human effort.
I guess the other thing that I don't like is I don't like where it's being applied. I feel like if it was just a regular bug report type of thing, like a regular issue, all right, maybe I'll chase a little more on some weirdness. I mean, because you get a lot of those anyway, even with the human reporters on some things. Yeah. And so an acceptable level of accurateness is lower, than a security vulnerability. That's to me top priority. We're putting all the effort into it. Right. And it needs to be something pretty legit, or at least I hope it is.
That's the hope. Yep. And I also hope that people aren't just checking I didn't use AI for this box for a curl before submitting stuff. I hope they're honest about that too. But I suppose you can block people. Once you figure out
once you figure out they're not doing the right thing,
you just block them forever, I guess.
You're out, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, no matter how much we try, and no matter how much we whine about it on this show, AI is going to continue being part of our lives, and I'm going to continue to complain about it.
Yeah, I'm going to find some problems with it, that's for sure.
Man, there are legitimate ways that AI can be used to...
There's some helpful things it can do, but this is not one of them.
This is not one of them, so I'm going to keep calling them like I see them. This is not a good one. You're probably watching this one on YouTube, but if you're listening or if you're watching with your ears, then I guess you're not. But then if you're watching with your ears, that means that you could also watch this with your eyes on YouTube. So if you prefer the video style, then go check it out over there. The entire show, if you're watching with your ears, then you get the entire show. But if you don't find yourself able to sit and listen to the whole entire thing, maybe not in one go, but you just kind of forget about it, you can always stick us on YouTube, and each of the segments that we put out come out on YouTube by themselves. So they're smaller, they're bite-sized, they're easier to digest in one go. And anything that we do educational-wise, which coming up next episode, we've got our flat pack snap, not history, but deep dive. We did the histories already of those.
Analysis. We'll call it analysis.
An analysis will show up over on Tilvid. So we've still got educational stuff coming out over there. That is in the works. If you listen to the entire show, or if you're on YouTube watching this in a single segment, then you have to watch the entire episode. I don't put that part out individually. So go to the full episode and then click on the next timestamp. Yeah,
there's channel markers, if you will.
Yep.
Click on that.
And we're going to tell you all about what we're going to do this next time, about what we're going to install, how we're going to do it. We have some tidbits in there. This is why you want to do it. We have some tidbits in there right now that can help you figure out how big your Snap store actually is, how big your flat pack stuff actually is, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep monitoring that. What's going to be...
Yeah, or at least what we're doing. Yeah.
What all that's going to end up like here in a little bit. And we've got some recursion that's going to have to happen to get a real good idea of how those things are going to change. So anyway, all the educational bits on Tilvids. Go check it out over there. That's what you'll find there. And if you like these journeys, if you like us, if you like the content that we put out, and all of the above, go send us a buck over on patreon.com/LinuxUserspace. And you don't actually have to send any money to follow us over there. The
That's
episode comes out over there. So if you just want a single place to kind of watch what's happening, patreon.com/LinuxUserspace is a place to do that. But you can also send us a buck, right? So the dollar gets you...
Yeah. Dollar bills, y'all.
That's right. So $1 will get you Lemmy access.
Yeah.
$3 will get you early access to the episode. $5 will get you the whole show, the show before the show after the show, and the show itself, audio version. And then $10 will do the same thing, but in video. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you get in some of those tiers.
Yeah.
So go check that out. We don't charge you money for nothing. We give you some stuff in return.
We really do appreciate your support. So if you can, we'll make sure to return some of that support that you give us in the form of,
stuff,
some bonuses.